Breaking news. Breaking news on WEEI is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
All right, breaking news out of the NFL. According to Adam Schefter, about 1 minute ago, the Jets and the Packers have completed the Aaron Rodgers trade, and here is the compensation the Jets get. Rodgers and the 15th pick in the upcoming draft. They also get a 5th-round pick, number 170. The Packers get pick number 13, a 2023 second-round pick, number 42, a 6th-round pick, and a conditional second-round pick next year that becomes a first if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. Rodgers to the Jets, complete.
Okay, let me streamline this. It's Rodgers to the Jets for 2 second-round picks, and the Jets and Packers swap picks in the first round, 13 and 15, right? So the Packers drop down 2 spots. The Jets rather drop down 2 spots. The Packers move up 2 spots. Is that accurate?
The second could become a first.
The second could become a first. Thank you. So it's really for 2 draft picks. It's 2 seconds, could become a first and a second. How do we feel about the compensation for Rodgers?
I'm surprised it's that little. I really thought it would be more than this. They're just swapping 2 spots in the first round there, and the rest of it I feel like is not the haul I was expecting, considering how long this whole thing dragged out. I thought it was going to be a lot more. I thought the Jets would really try and bleed the Packers dry. I don't know. Maybe this is more than I'm sort of looking at, but I was expecting this big Godfather offer, and I don't feel like this is it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Rodgers makes so much money, the Packers had nowhere else to trade him. The Packers had no leverage. I tried to tell you the second that Aaron Rodgers went on with McAfee, I said the Packers have no leverage. And there was like a flood of stories that day. The Packers have all the leverage. The Jets have no leverage. They were all wrong. This one I was right about. I've said I was wrong about a lot of stuff today. This I was right about. The Jets had all the leverage. He wanted to go to one place. And so I kind of thought we might not get it until the draft. But maybe the league just doesn't want Aaron Rodgers to overshadow the draft. And the league stepped in and said, guys, let's work this trade out. 2 seconds for Rodgers, totally worth it for the Jets. If he's good. And what's the stipulation? Do we know it's a conditional pick? Do we know it? Oh, sorry, 65%
65% of the plays.
So basically, if he plays, regardless of whether they're good or not, if he plays, that's it. That's worth it to the Jets. They haven't had a good quarterback in forever. They should take a swing at this. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I wouldn't feel bad about it at all if I were New York. So I think it's totally worth it. And I'm not surprised the Packers couldn't get more. Aaron Rodgers pretty much took away all their leverage when he said, I want to go to New York. The Packers should have traded him earlier. They should have traded him when he first gave him warning signs. They probably would have got more. But their leverage was undercut by Rodgers when he did that interview a month, 6 weeks, 2 months ago, whenever it was.
When I came out of the darkness, something changed.
And here's the real problem. The division's now changed.
Yeah.
We all have been bracing for it, but now it's official. And the Patriots better do something about it. I think soon. And I think starting with Thursday. And I think starting at the quarterback spot, but I'll allow for them to try to upgrade the weapons around Mac Jones. Trade for a receiver, trade for a tight end, whatever. But the Patriots are now on the clock because they're the worst team in the division.
You're saying the only path for the Patriots that you see, I'm taking the quarterback part out because that's just a totally bigger conversation, but is trade for a receiver. Don't go get one of those weapons in the draft.
No, I would do either one. If they like Smith and Jigba or they like Quentin Johnston or whatever, if there's a receiver they like, they should take him. And if they like one of the tight ends, they should take him. And I wouldn't hate trading up for Smith and Jigba. Go from 14 to 11 or something like that to ensure you get him. But if they want to trade it for an established wide receiver, Hopkins, another name we've talked about quite a bit all off season long, then sure. Yeah, I'd be fine with them doing either one. But I'd like to see them upgrade quarterback. If they don't, and I agree that's a larger conversation, then you need to give your quarterback a shot because he's now by far the worst quarterback in the division.
He definitely is. And this is a really good division. Then again, I think about what we were saying before, or at least what I was saying, what others were saying about the divisions before the season started last year. I'm looking at Russell Wilson.
We thought the West would be great.
Like we thought it was going to be amazing. So you never know. It depends which Aaron Rodgers shows up this year. He wasn't great last year. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great.
It's so ridiculous.
I think he's going to be reinvigorated by being in a new locker room. It's going to be his first time out of Packers country, so it'll be a little bit of an adventure. What are you pointing at?
Well, just one text. Do we know this yet? At 37937. Are the Packers paying for any of his contract? I'm guessing not.
I don't think so.
I'm guessing the Jets are picking up the full thing. I have not seen that.
I feel like that would have been mentioned, but I haven't seen it.
Correct. I'm guessing the Jets are paying the full thing.
But to spin this back to the Patriots, I don't feel like getting a guy in the draft is really what I want.
What do you
when
want?
your division is this strong,
What do you want?
You go out and get an established receiver.
I see. Okay, so you want a weapon for Mac. You're quibbling about how they get it.
Take a real swing out there. It's not that I don't trust them in the draft. It's just that I'm looking at this season.
Good receivers.
And I understand receivers come out of the draft way more polished now.
Yeah, they contribute on day one. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. You want to go back a few years to some of the other young receivers. You can do that as well. Just last year's receivers for the most part.
I just
were pretty
rather
good.
have a more of a sure thing when the division is this tough. That's my preference. I don't care about the money. I don't care about whatever. Just go make it happen.
I wouldn't fight with that. If they traded for a receiver, I'd have no problem with it. But that's what they need to do because the Patriots are now on the clock. They're the worst quarterback in the division. They're the worst roster in the division. They're the worst team in the division. So that's now where you're at. We can add that to all your Bruins and Celtics phone calls, 617-779-7937, unless you had something there.
Pretty nice little weekend for New York, huh? You got the Rangers up 2-1. The Knicks are throttling the Cavs, and the Jets just got Aaron Rodgers. New York's looking okay right now.
You want to talk about stuff I got wrong this weekend? all of my Cavs bets. The Jones Sportsbook, I texted this to a buddy of mine. The Jones Sportsbook is way overexposed on the Cavs, and we are about to take a big hit on all of my Cavs bets. Futures bets, in-series bets that I've already lost. The Jones Sportsbook is very overexposed.
Don't bet on Julius Randle either.
Text line has a really important point
that
I think we need to highlight.
What is it?
Vindication for Wingo.
Yeah, Trey Wingo was right.
Trey Wingo was right.
Wingo.
I never doubted him.
Wingo called it.
No, I'm not even going to bring up the bet that I won with you two. I don't quite remember what it was, but there was some bet that we had where somebody had to eat something gross if Aaron Rodgers went to the Packers, went to the Jets.
I don't remember this.
No, I'm sure you don't. Paul's in Rhode Island. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Radical Jones, you're sitting down?
Yes.
I hope so.
I am.
Listen, man, we're going to have to trade up. That's one. To the Raiders to 6. I think 3 quarterbacks are going to fall after 6, I think. Now, I would like the two Iowa guys. That would be nice. The Campbell and Van Ness, whatever his name is. Yeah, Van Ness, yes.
Okay.
And I tell you, cornerbacks and offensive line, that's the biggest key here for this team. And yes, we do have some great players, but no more $250 million spending all these guys, they're leftovers from everybody else. I'm done.
Yeah, well, it's too late now. Free agency's done. So they're not going to be able to go out and spend in free agency. He wants them to trade up. I said earlier I think they're going to. It stunned me that Mike Reese, and, I don't overlook a lot of what Mike Reese writes.
He's not a hot taker. Yeah, he's not a hot taker.
He is not a hot taker, and it's how it's prioritized in his Sunday notes. He works on those all week. He puts a lot of work into those, talks to a lot of people around the league. He's plugged in the organization. And points 2 through 4 were all about how, the draft isn't a very good one when it comes to high-end talent. Maybe the Patriots would move up like they did with Dante Hightower and Chandler Jones a few years ago, or now a decade plus ago. But I don't know. I just saw that little note from Reese, and I said maybe he's heard something, and maybe he knows how the Patriots are going to attack this draft. And that's 100% what they should do. I don't want the edge players he's talking about. I don't want them to trade up to 6 and take, a guy on defense. As I said, for most of this offseason, I don't really want them to invest all that much on their defense. They need help on offense. So if they're moving up, I hope that's what they're doing. But I want them to target somebody and go get them. That's what I want them to do. And even if it is a player on defense, I'll stand down. If they move up and prioritize somebody, I will stand down and applaud them for being aggressive and getting a blue chipper in a draft that's light on that. Because now you are trying to catch up to the New York Jets, which if you're just tuning in, have officially traded for Aaron Rodgers. They're swapping first-round picks with the Packers, 15 for 13, so the Jets move back a couple of spots. They get a 5th, the Packers get a 6th, and then the real headliner, the Packers get 2 seconds, the second of which in 2024 could move up to a first-rounder. It's a conditional there. So that's the breaking news at this hour.
So you did say real quick.
Yep.
Patriots have the worst quarterback room in the division.
Yeah? They have the worst quarterback in the division, yep.
And probably quarterback room.
Probably, yeah.
And wide receiver room.
And wide receiver room, and overall roster and team. Yes,
the facilities were poorly voted on.
Do the Jets now have the douchiest quarterback room?
Probably
in the division.
I would say that's
in the
maybe in
NHL
league, in NFL history.
In NFL history,
I'd say it's the douchiest in the division. Who's got the second?
I can't even. Russell Wilson kind of jumps.
No. Who in the division has the second douchiest quarterback room? I think we all know.
No comment.
The Jets passed them. The Jets passed them, but the Patriots. Actually, the Jets are probably already in front of them.
I can't wait for award season.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe.
The Jets are now lapping the field, but the Patriots are still second in the division. 617-779-7937. You want to react to Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets officially now? I think we all knew this day was going to happen.
You've reached the top, the pinnacle of douchedom.
You want to weigh in, you can.